Hey man, how are you? Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, Sid. How you doing?
I'm okay. It's a bit of a interesting
I can hear you.
score. Yeah. It's a bit of an interesting score, 141 for 8. I mean, obviously England are the favorites now, and I think Sri Lanka just need to be creative when they're defending the score. I mean, considering it's in Sydney, maybe they just should just open with their spinners, see what happens. That's the only thing I can say. What do you think? Hey man, I don't know what happened there. Yeah, so what are your thoughts, I think Sri Lanka will have to open up with spinners to make it interesting. Oh, hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hmm. Hello? 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 Hello?
Hi, sir. How are you
Okay.
doing?
I'm okay. I'm okay. I think we're having a little bit of a World War year with Wi-Fi today. Yeah. Yeah, man. I was just trying to get your thoughts on that they must try and open up with their spinners there, Sri Lanka. Mm. Mm. Oh, hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what's your thoughts there?
I think they're about 20 runs short here. I think we were talking about
Hmm.
160. So they're looking at
Hmm.
20 runs short. I mean, it started off so well for Sri Lanka. I mean, 50, I think it was 50 in the power play. And, they were looking good. And then, they lost a few wickets in
Hmm.
the end. But I mean, the pace and bounce of Wood towards the end, and I mean, the craftiness of Curran really brought this game back for England. So, yeah, I think they'll be happy
Hmm.
chasing 140, Sid, especially on the Sydney
Yeah.
wicket, which has been a bit tricky for teams chasing. And we've seen this in the World Cup. There's not a single team that has actually won a game chasing. There hasn't been too many games at this ground, but whatever games that we
Hmm.
have seen here, the team that
Hmm.
obviously chased really battled and found it difficult in those conditions to actually chase. So I think I think you're probably going to get a happy England team, at the break here, and they didn't want to go all out to chase this, and make that playoff spot.
Yeah, man. I agree with that. I was just thinking, let's do something a bit different. Instead of going through all the games this week, let's just pick which one we liked and which one we hated. I'll start first. I liked Australia versus Afghanistan, and I'll tell you why. I liked it in the sense that I liked how Rashid actually played and they nearly actually got over the line, Afghanistan. What I hated about the game was that Australia had won, but they didn't win by a big enough margin to make today's game even more interesting. That's pretty much the game I liked and hated at the same time.
Well, that game that game really caught my eye, like, as you said, towards the end. I mean, Rashid's innings was absolutely unbelievable. The way he was nailing those six out of the ground. I mean, that was some pretty clean hitting and clean hitting. And you could see Gulbadin in the dugout. He was really disappointed because I honestly, this is a game that Afghanistan threw away. They had the Aussies on the ropes there, and they probably should have won this game. In all theory, they should have won this game. So if you look at those Afghan players in the dugout, they were really, really disappointed. For Australia, I mean, I just want to say, if you look at this tournament, I mean, this team has been really, really undercooked. I think that game against New Zealand when they got really spanked, nobody saw that coming. I mean, none of us saw that coming. I mean, let alone beating New Zealand. I mean, you actually trounced them.
Hmm.
I mean, New Zealand actually trounced the Aussies in that game there. So, I mean,
Hmm.
their run rate was in the negative. It was in the negative for a very long time, and they always played cricket.
Hmm.
So, I mean, although they won a few games in this World Cup, and they did what they had to do yesterday, it hasn't been
Hmm.
convincing. It's been quite.
Hmm.
I mean, even the last game
Hmm.
against Ireland, they had them 5 for 5, but they let them off the hook. And a guy by the name of Lachlan Tucker. I mean, you're gonna hear that
Hmm.
from years. Knocked Australia out of this tournament in terms of that run rate because I mean, he really that game could probably cost them because I mean, if they bowl Ireland out cheaply, their net run rate could have probably been could have probably overtaken England, but as it seems now, all England need is a win to go through. So, I mean, it's completely out of their hands. They probably need a bowling miracle for Sri Lanka to get through now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yes. I'm just thinking Sri Lanka need to just open up for their spinners, and anything can happen from that situation. Like maybe start with Tikshana and then do one over with Hasaranga. And if Hasaranga can get Battle out, that's where the game becomes interesting. And then you can bring back the paces. You just need to do something different, you know. It can't be boring, you know. Sydney will suit spinners, so you know how it goes. Yeah.
I mean, I know you're saying that was the game of the week for you and stuff, but yeah, I kind of disagree with you. Yeah, I think the SA and India clash at Perth was an unbelievable game. I mean, this game actually ebbed and flowed for me, although it was a low scoring game. So, this game kept me, you know, on the edge of my seat right till the end. You know, and
Mm.
thankfully the Proteas got over the line there, and it was a crucial 2 points. And you know, come with the man, come with the hour,
Yeah,
David Miller.
yeah,
He's been having an
yeah.
unbelievable.
I did tell you that if SA didn't beat India, I was a bit worried about that SA versus Pakistan, and that one also proved true. I was right about that one. And I knew it because of Sydney. I knew Pakistan would play well on those conditions, Asian conditions, although SA's fielding was pathetic, to put it politely, and so was India's. So I guess teams are taking turns in fielding pathetically, so I guess it's one of those things. You want to get into the
Yeah,
pre-cap
look,
for tomorrow's match? Oh, sorry.
it, it,
Yeah.
it was a bowler's wicket. It was a bowler's wicket in Perth. Let's not fool ourselves here. It was very challenging, and I think
Yeah.
the Proteas
Mm,
they played to the back of a leg. It caused the Indian batsmen
mm.
all sorts of problems. And I mean, you know, as we spoke, that was the best chance probably on that sort of wicket to beat India, and you know they got the job done in the end, which was you know it was quite a convincing win, I felt. So yeah, that game was a really you know exciting game, thrilling game, and you know packed house at Perth. But then obviously, I think we both agree which was the worst game of the week, and no surprises there. Thursday. I mean, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of the weather in this World Cup, and again, it played spoil sport
Yeah,
yesterday, Thursday. But I mean,
yeah.
Pakistan. We spoke about this game. I mean, I was a bit jittery going to this game because I knew that you know they had to win to stay alive in this tournament, and you know you get these performances from Pakistan. You probably seen the
Hmm.
best and worst of Pakistan in this
Hmm.
tournament, and I think Thursday was one of their better performances. Zimbabwe
Yeah.
probably one of their lowest points, and yeah, we've seen the best and worst of Pakistan in this tournament. But boy, oh boy, is that win over India so crucial? The way that table is looking at the
Hmm.
moment.
Definitely. I did warn you about that one. So let's go to tomorrow's fixtures quickly. We do play the Netherlands at 2 o'clock this morning, so I don't know if you'll be up for that. I'm sure you will be. So I'm predicting SA to beat Netherlands. Unless SA leave their brains at home, that's the only way Netherlands are going to win. And I think if the rain does come, God forbid, then I think Pakistan will be in a way through. Because I think they will definitely beat Bangladesh, which is after them, which is around 6 o'clock in the morning. So I think Pakistan are technically out. I don't think SA is going to lose to Netherlands, and I think Pakistan will beat Bangladesh, and I think India will definitely beat Zimbabwe. I think India is so lucky because they can be washed out and they still go through. They can beat Zimbabwe and go through. The only way India was out is they lose to Zimbabwe. So I think it's pretty much simple. That's pretty much my analysis in a quick way for those three matches tomorrow.
Yeah. I mean, the equation is pretty simple. I mean, win those games, then you're through. I mean, technically you're through. So
Mm.
yeah, you probably say on paper, SA probably has the easiest game of all those teams. You know, if you look at Bangladesh and if you look at Zimbabwe, yeah, you know, Netherlands, you know, Adelaide Oval, a small ground, but you know, you would say Netherlands is probably one of the weaker sides in the tournament. And I just want to say this now: if the Proteas don't get the job done against Netherlands, I mean, don't expect to see me on the show anytime soon, bro. Don't expect me to see me on the show anytime soon. I'll be in absolute hiding by then. So, I mean, as you said, they leave their break. And I mean, 2-8, I was, you know, in a way, I was hoping we beat Pakistan. Then I would probably get some sleep. But it seems like I'm not going to get. I don't know how much of sleep I am going to get because, you know, you've got the Springboks tonight
Oh my
playing at
gosh.
7:30. So,
Okay.
uh,
All right.
yeah, I'm always tense. I'm always excited before Proteas games. So I don't know how much of sleep I am going to
Mm.
get because 2 a.m. start. And according to
Yeah,
Harsha
yeah.
Bogle, one of the fans of South African cricket, there is absolutely no rain at the Adelaide Oval on
Okay.
Sunday. So
Mm. Mm.
I think if there's no weather around, the Proteas should
Yeah.
get the job done. They should. They should get the
Yeah.
job done.
Even if we get 5 over each, I'm okay with that. Like I remember, and I did tell you about the Zimbabwean game. If they just did 5 overs each, we would have got the job done, and then it would have been perfect. We wouldn't have had to even worry about tomorrow's match. But anyway, that famously say S would happen. So yeah.
Look, I just want to say a few things. If you look at
Uh-huh.
T20 cricket, I mean, it's
Yeah.
really, really difficult to win every game. Leading up
Yeah,
to
of
a
course.
semi or final, it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's a sort of format that's quick and fast, and it's difficult for you to be consistent throughout.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but I mean, there's just a few concerns for me in that game. There, I think the one concern is the way we finished that innings. I mean, we started off so well. We got the big wickets out. I mean, the guys that we thought were going to score the runs, the likes of
Mm.
Rizwan and Baba, and
Yeah.
a bit of Shan as well. But I think thereafter, I mean, we thought we were going to this game. We knew that Pakistan's middle order was probably their weakest link, and I mean that this is what their middle order actually shown in this game. Yeah, they really shined, and they shined very brightly. I
Mm.
mean, Shah that was
Mm.
an excellent performance from him with bat or ball. You got to give it to him. I mean, he was
Mm.
targeting that short boundary, and they just knew which side of the ground that they wanted to attack, and they attacked. And I thought we probably didn't adapt to the conditions. We started off so well, as I said. Bowling is our strength. I
Mm.
like the way we start getting slid. We're always on the front foot of
Mm.
the ball, aggressive, and I think that's our weapon. Bowling is our
Mm.
strength. Look, I don't know what you feel about this. This is a bit of a controversial statement, but I do feel Lungi Ngidi is a much better white ball bowler than Kakiso
Mhm.
Rabada at the moment. Definitely, I mean, if you look at Ngidi's figures in this World Cup compared to Rabada, I think Rabada is probably getting too predictable. Batsmen are really, finding him out. He doesn't have a lot of variety in his bowling, and I think he's getting found out now. And we saw it in that Pakistan game. I mean,
Mm.
that youngster that came into the side. I can't get his name, man. The guy at number
Oh,
Mohammed Aris. Mohammed
was it
Aris.
Harris?
Mohammed Aris.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
Harris.
yes. So, I mean, he took a liking to Rabada and he targeted that short boundary as well. So I think that took the
Mm.
sting out of Rabada. So that's a bit of a concern for me going into the knockouts. I think playing Marco Janssen in the final game is a bit of a risk because it is a must-win game. So you probably have to play your best side. I mean, Marco Janssen
Oh, but
is a decent
yeah.
bowler, but I wouldn't want to make too many changes. I'd probably bring in Keshav back and play two spinners. And
Well, well, if you look at
yeah,
it
I
this way,
mean,
right? Ron made, I don't
uh,
know. Now, I was thinking like, if it's Netherlands, they could
it,
put Marco Jansen because you can't really go too wrong. I mean, if Marco Jansen bowls well, it could be quite a masterstroke. And you can do it against Netherlands. You should never lose to Netherlands, even though I know what you're saying. But I don't think it's going to do too much damage to our side psyche. It's just, I don't know.
yeah, but I mean, I comment on Cricket Fanatics magazine on YouTube, and one of the guest speakers said, you know what, this is a must-win game, so you might as well play your best team. So I mean,
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
probably KG's last chance to get his confidence back.
yeah,
Going to
yeah.
the playoffs. So I mean, I'll probably. I mean, it's a tough one because I want Keshav in the side as well. It's good to have two
Hmm.
spinners. I mean, would you go with 4 quicks and one spinner, or 3 quicks and two spinners? What would you go with? What would be your combination for this game?
Oh, in Adelaide, what type of ground is Adelaide? Is it a spinner's pitch or a balanced pitch? I'm so confused now.
It's probably a bit of a balanced pitch, but there is a few short boundaries as well. And look,
Uh,
Shamo has to play because Shamo is quite a crafty bowler, and I think he can take wickets against this Netherlands side that probably wouldn't be
oh,
too comfortable playing this spin. So
hmm.
I
I don't think
still
it's
go with our strength.
yeah, I think, yeah, it doesn't matter. With due respect to the Netherlands, I don't really mind which combination we really put in the bowling. I just think We'll win, even if whether David Miller plays or not. Just give him enough time to rest, because I expect us to beat him, and then we'll be okay for the semis. And then that's how I pretty much look at it. I wanted to get a quick thought. The ICC changed the rules for 10 overs each for the semis and for the final. What do you think about that?
Sorry, 10 overs for the?
No, I said to get a result, they've now changed the rules just for the semis and the final, whereby it has to be 10 overs each in the worst case scenario. What do you think of that? I mean, not 10 overs each, but no, but I mean like 10 overs cutoff point. Normally it's 5 overs for a cutoff point in the worst case scenario, but like the other made it 10 overs, at the cutoff point.
Well, I think you heard my comments about the ICC in this whole tournament. I think the ICC really messed up this tournament, right? Really badly. So, I mean, you're talking about 10 over cutoffs. I think you probably got to have a replay. Yeah. You probably got to have a replay because it's a knockout game. There's so much at stake. I mean, you got to have a reserve day for a semi-final or a or a finals.
They are gonna have a reserve day. They do have reserve days for this tournament. They do have reserve days for the semi.
So I'm not a big fan of that 10 over thing that you obviously play. You're going to be losing overs. You probably both sides to play 20 overs and then get a fair result there. So I'm not a fan of these reduced overs things and stuff. I would still go with the part of a reserve. Okay, and both teams get a fair chance of actually winning the game.
Yeah.
I take it from there. Hey, I take it from there. So that's my thoughts. But getting back to Miller, I disagree with what you're saying. I think Miller needs to come back into the side tomorrow. I really think he needs to come back into the side. I think we need to be in the groove going into that playoff. So I think it's really important for Miller, who's in good nick. If he needs to bat, get some runs tomorrow, get his confidence levels going up the roof, and he'll be fighting for that semi-final. So I think Miller has to come in for Klaasen tomorrow, sir. The other concern for me.
If he's not 100% fit, it's not fair to risk him just for Netherlands. Obviously, if he's fit, yeah, you play him. But if he's not 100% fit, why risk him for Netherlands? Rather risk him for the semis. That's what I'm saying.
Look, I don't want to say this, but I think the Proteas looked at the Pakistan game and they looked at Netherlands playing Netherlands first, and probably they looked at Miller's situation and they probably said to themselves, we could probably he could probably see this one out because we obviously have Netherlands in the final game. But having said that, losing the game now makes it a must-win game. If we won, it was a bonus, absolute bonus. I would have been over the moon because I would have been able to get my sleep on Sunday morning. But unfortunately, I got to wake up tomorrow morning. I don't think I'm going to get much sleep because the butterflies are there. The butterflies are there. The butterflies also came when the Proteas are playing. So I just hope they play to their strengths and get back to where they were because they were so good against Pakistan in that first 10 overs, and they let it slip in that final 10, which was a bit disappointing, but I could understand. It wasn't the easiest sort of ground to field on. It was wet at times. It was drizzling. You could see it. It was drizzling, but the umpires, they kept on playing. So, yeah, it's a controversial thing. Hey, I don't like these rain reduced games. It really doesn't bode well for the tournament. Yeah. It doesn't really bode well for the team that's chasing. It has an unfair bar. Mind you, if this game went to 20 overs, I think it would have probably got pretty close. But obviously with Miller not being there, it leaves it takes a lot away from the team as well. So I think it's very important to play Miller in tomorrow's game, and if you're gonna bring anybody back, I think you probably want to bring Keshav back in the side. And by the way things are going at the moment, I think you probably want to drop Rabada because I think he's not his straps. He probably needs a break, and maybe that freshness would probably get him fired up for that semi-final. Let's see how it goes. It'll be very interesting. It'll be very, very interesting if they're going to stick with the same side or make those changes. But I would probably bring in Keshav for this game. Eh?
Okay. Yeah, I guess it doesn't. I guess it's Netherlands. I don't think it really matters bowling combinations. It just matters that SA don't lose their brains. Then it's pretty much simple as that. You're laughing. It's
I
true.
mean,
I mean, Netherlands is.
I'm not going to see you for a very long time if that happens. So, yeah, I'm waking up. I don't know. I'm not going to get much sleep tonight. I'm not going to get much sleep tonight, but
Yeah.
definitely.
The only thing in NSA's way is the rain. That's the only thing that's in NSA's way, basically. It's the rain. I don't think there's any rain, so expect an SA win. I'm putting it out there.
Plus, it makes it much easier watching the next two games, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm just hoping that India don't lose their brains. That's my only little concern. Yeah. At the worst case scenario, if India are losing the brains, I'll be praying for rain, so it's fine. Rain will even get India through, so it's fine in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, my second best game of the week was definitely India and Bangladesh. So, I mean, what a thriller in Adelaide that was. I mean, that was an absolute heart stopper. What we
Yeah,
saw in
man.
Adelaide. I mean, India hosting a formidable score, but the way Bangladesh came out, I mean, that was sensational. I mean, the way Litton and Shanto came out of the bat. But I mean, that rain delay probably. I think Bangladesh probably lost their brains in that rain delay a bit, and I think they tried to get too fancy with this Indian bowling lineup, and they lost their way in the end. But I mean, boy, oh boy, that game was alive until the final ball. I mean, that was some game to watch. It. I really enjoyed it. So that is probably my second best game of the week. It was an unbelievable game of cricket.
Yeah, and it's looking like England are on their way to win this so far. They're 39 for 4. I mean, 39 without loss after 4.2 overs. I kind of wish that they were 39 for 4, but they're not. 39 without loss.
So, yeah, I mean, you got to say the Proteas are going to get the job done. They got to get the job done tomorrow.
Yeah.
I just don't want to see a win. I want to see a clinical performance. I want to see a clinical win from them. And it's give them confidence going into the semifinals. Honestly, at this moment in time, sir, I don't really care who I play in the semifinals. It's the semifinals, so you really can't choose who you want to play. So I really don't care who I play in the semifinals.
Yeah, I was having a fantasy final, obviously, in Australia, but it's not looking likely. With the way England's batting, it's like pretty depressing. So I'm thinking it's either an SA India final, which is good enough for me, or you could have an SA England final, which is like, it's okay, but it's not as, I guess. I think SA could win either of those because it's in the MCG, and MCG should suit our bowling attack more than any of those two. Although England would come pretty close. So, and also India, I don't think will feel any worse. It'll be quite a fun final if India's also there. So, be good. That's how I look at it in a nutshell.
I just want to breathe after tomorrow. I just want to breathe. I want my breath to come back because at the moment I'm breathing quite heavy. So, I want my pulse to actually be.
Come on, Avish. It's Netherlands. Come on. If you're worrying about Netherlands, then I dare to worry about SA versus India final. I'm just kidding. Yeah, man. It's cool. I know why you're nervous. You're worried about the rain coming in SA way because, before I leave, Ian Chappell was mentioning about SA not making the finals because they always seem to find a way of messing it up. But I agree.
I also saw that one, the one on Channel 9, and I'm not a big fan of Chappell, and I know Chappell is not a big fan of SA as well. So he's always had harsh things to say about SA. So I don't take his comments seriously.
I like him. He's pretty honest. I mean, he does praise, Kohli. I know he's a big Kohli fan, but I think he's probably going by SA's past history. But I think SA will prove him wrong this time. I have a feeling.
Absolutely. I know. I do agree with that part. I do agree with that.
I think SA is going to prove him wrong this time. I think SA, as Sean Pollock said, it's SA's time. And also, it's probably our time in terms of conditions. You'll never get a better time than now. I think the next World Cup in the West Indies, I don't think we'll win that one. I'm just putting it out there. So it's our time to win this World Cup.
I think it's in the US. It's in the US.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, USA. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, USA.
Yeah, sort of for a World Cup. I mean, given a country, I mean, we know the US is a superpower, but I mean, never really take taken a liking to cricket. So, I mean, that'll be an interesting World Cup. It'll be interesting to see what stadiums we play in.
The US, it's a bit of an unknown quantity. I don't know what pitches they'll prepare, but anyway, I think that's pretty much it from my side. Any final words?
Yeah, as I'm saying, I mean, I just hope they're clinical tomorrow and, get the job done as early as possible. And, I mean, the other games, obviously back India over Zimbabwe. Because I think after Zimbabwe's win over Pakistan, they probably lost their marbles a bit. The wheels have come off really badly. And losing to teams that they probably expect them to beat, So the wheels have really come off badly for Zimbabwe. Pakistan and Bangladesh is an interesting game. I think that's probably the game of the day, yes, sir.
Yeah, man, it's been a bit. Honestly, Pakistan just don't deserve to be in this World Cup semi-finals. I'm putting it out there. I mean, unless India lose their brains, it's just Pakistan, SA and India to go through, basically. The same bit, and that's pretty much it from my side.
Absolutely. I mean, if you're going to lose to teams that you're supposed to be winning against, you don't deserve to be in a playoff, But I mean, obviously, England have shown the other way around. I mean, they lost to Ireland, but I think that was really, really unlucky for them to be losing to Ireland in that way. But I think on average, I think if you lose your first two games, it's probably curtains for you. So. Yeah, I mean, the thing about Pakistan that really, really, surprises me, sir, is I mean they have a bowling attack to really match some of the best teams in the world. I mean, if you look at their bowling attack, this is a side that a country that keeps on producing fast bowlers. I mean, if you look at the country as a whole and a generation gone by, I mean, they idolize their fast bowlers. The likes of Wasim, Waqar back in the days. And Shoaib and Umar Gul in recent times. I mean, this is a country that idolizes fast bowlers, so youngsters obviously take a liking to fast bowling, and they produce a whole lot of fast bowlers. And I still think they're actually magicians when it comes to Yorkers. I don't think any team is as good as them when it comes to Yorkers. And I mean, what I saw from the youngster on Thursday. Wasim Jr. in that death over, in that 14th over was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, to nail 4 Yorkers in an over just to nail 1 or 2 is tough, but I mean, to nail 4 is unbelievable. So, yeah, I mean, they masters at their craft when it comes to bowling. I think their batting sometimes really leaves a lot to be desired. But when it comes to their bowling, they're always a threat. So, I mean, I always saw them as a threat because I always feel they have a better bowling attack than even the likes of India as well. So, as a bowling group, they're always a threat. So, yeah, as I said, we saw the best and worst. So, yeah, I'll be up tomorrow, 2 a.m. Hopefully, I've got to have a couple of cups of coffee with me. So I'll have the kettle on as well. So, caffeine rush trying to keep me up. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll be up. And we can chat when the game is on.
Yeah, honestly, I'll be pretty much asleep. I can't keep up with all these, things. I trust SA will win, man. I can't. I'm becoming old. I need my rest, but I'm sure SA will win. I'll probably be, real. Plus this catch up. I'll catch it up. Nothing like catch up. Yeah. No, you can have those power naps. Yeah, you can have the power naps. You normally have like a 10-minute break, 15 minutes.
Yeah. If I can get those butterflies out of my system, I'll probably try and have a 2-hour power nap. So
I think the rain is causing you more butterflies than the match itself. Sheesh. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
if
man.
I'm in Netherlands. I'll probably
getting grey as well. If you look at it,
I'll probably end up going on Twitter and bashing us, if that happens. Yeah. I'll probably go on Twitter and bash SA if they don't beat Netherlands. So I think it's the rain. I'm more worried about the rain itself than SA not winning it. So anyway, that's how I look at it.
I mean, this is the reason why I don't like Twitter, and why I don't have Twitter. The reason why I don't have Twitter is, I mean, as soon as the team loses one game, I mean, you get the C word coming up. You get the C word. So whenever the Proteas lose a game in the World Cup, it can either be a group game, it can be a knockout game. The C word always comes upset, and I think it's a really, really unfair. It's really unfair on the team that's done quite well in this tournament. They were due a loss.
Yeah.
Let's face it, they were due a loss. So, I mean, a lot of people that are on Twitter, I mean, are just like followers of the game, They don't really watch the game in depth. They don't really follow the game, in depth. They probably watching the tournament. You get those tournament fans as well. So I don't get too much into that. That is the reason why I don't like it. I probably like it. I like two sides of the coin. Two point of views, and I just think you just got to give Pakistan credit on the day. They were the better side. Came blazing. They played to the conditions, and they got the job done. And as I said, their bowling attack is always a threat. So even if they made 160, I think their bowling would have still been a threat. So they stepped it up, and I think in the back of our minds, you and me especially, we expected this from Pakistan, didn't we?
Yeah. And actually, you expected SA to still win. You kind of doubted Pakistan, but I told you Pakistan would win. It's Sydney, and they also desperate. When they're desperate, they play well. I mean, they always do that. I've become used to it. I should have probably punted on it, but I didn't want to really be disappointed. I'm just kidding.
I guess you still got the knockouts.
No, and also look at it this way. If AC lose now, it's better for them to get the loss now than rather losing in the semis. So it's fine. It's a good wake-up call, as the woman said, so I'm okay with it. As I said 1,000 times, we'll beat Netherlands, and then we shall catch up soon for the semis. Or actually, we won't be able to because the semis are this week. So okay, fine. On a final note, I'm saying it's an SA-India final because I think Australia out. I'm calling it already. I'm calling an SA-India final. You?
I'm not calling anything at the moment, but I think we probably can do a review show tomorrow towards the evening, and then we will discuss it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. See, are you awake around 9:30 tomorrow? And 9:30 in the afternoon? At night, I mean.
I'll let you know about that, but I'll just see how my schedule is because I think I might have to catch up on some sleep.
All right.
So, fingers crossed, 2 a.m. tomorrow. All right. Proteas, just get the job done. Don't lose your heads. And and then bring on the semis.
All right, take care, man.
Cheers, man. Have a good Saturday, and
you too.
See you soon.